So when it comes to this channel, guys, if you've been around here at all, you know that I build pretty much anything when it comes to Terraria. From floating islands to castles to little cities or towns and even some, well, unique anime-related builds, I am open to pretty much building just about anything out there. But today's build is different, or at least that's what I like to say, because I just built a singular tree. Hey Terraria fans, welcome back to another speed build video. Guys, in this one I am indeed building a tree, but it's not just any tree. This is a Wisteria tree. Now, if you're not familiar with what that is, it's got some very long flowing look to it.
Oh my.
And I really played around with trying to figure out how to make this look interesting. And a big part of that was using a ton of different textures and paint, and I absolutely love the way this turned out. Now, if you did see my previous build with a standalone tree, you'll know that this is the ether biome tree that I made. You can check that up here or wherever it turns up. But basically, it's just a standalone tree that was all one color, and it looked really good, but it got me thinking about different ways to incorporate trees into builds or just as a standalone piece. And this one benefits from having a ton of layers and textures, which I really think makes it stand out. Now, I'm not gonna give any spoilers here, but if you do want to actually see me build this kind of thing live, guys, you can of course check me out live on Twitch. Link is down below, or you can hit that like, the subscribe, or hit the little dinner bell thingy so you can know when the next video hits the old YouTube universe. Now, with my shameless self-promotion aside, guys, don't forget to stay until the end of this video just to check out all of the materials, because I will be covering those. So if you do want to make something similar, or at least make an attempt or an exact replica or whatever, you'll at least be able to see absolutely every material that I use. And of course, if you have any questions, guys, about something, if I missed something, or if you're not sure about something, just leave me a comment down below and I will get back to you. Right, so with that said, let's get to the build, shall we? right, so with this epic Wisteria tree build done, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cover all of the materials like I promised at the beginning of this video. So as always, guys, I encourage you to pause here if you want to take a closer look at any of the materials, or if there's anything that stands out that you're not sure about. Pause, take a close look, and don't be afraid to ask any questions. Now, taking a closer look, there's actually not as much stuff as you might think. Now, for walls, we use some palladium column. A few places have some astra brick. That's actually in the tree itself, which you can probably see very closely. Some crimson scab wall, some hallowed shard wall, and some brown mossy wall really help make the tree sort of stand out. We also have the corrupt tendril wall for the trunk of the tree, some jungle vine wall here and there, and of course some living leaf wall in the backgrounds. And then I went with a bit of bamboo fence to help extend those sort of hanging wisteria tree aspects. We also connected obviously our blue lights to that as well, which we painted blue, but you could paint any color should you choose. Now, of course, because this is a tree, there's a lot of foliage, and to get that foliage, we used strange plants, all three of them, including some blueberries as well. I also went with some crystal shards here and there, some vine rope, and some coral, and even seashells here and there, especially on those hanging parts where the blue lights are. It's a little hard to see because they blend in quite a bit, but those are all going to be part of how we create all that wonderful texture. But probably what is the most unique block, in my opinion, is going to be the nebula brick. This is actually in the tree itself. It adds a lot of texture and a little bit of that sort of shininess, especially when painted gray. It also goes quite nicely with the crystal shards, so that combination worked fairly well for me. And then when it comes to smooth granite block, which I never really use, this is just on the little sort of pillar things. You can kind of see them in that U-shaped section. Nothing crazy, they just kind of look different, and I thought I would add them. I just think it's something that doesn't quite stand out a lot and fits the build quite nicely. And finally, when it comes to blocks, we also use some wooden spikes here and there. You can definitely see where they are, but very sparingly used in this build, guys, because they are a little bit different with the texturing, and I didn't want them to be a focal point, but hopefully you can kind of see that I use them without them being too hidden. Now, when it comes to paint, guys, as you can probably imagine, a lot of green and a lot of blue, and that's exactly what we got. So we've got some lime paint, we've got some deep blue and some blue paint, as well as some deep sky blue and some deep teal. Now, the idea here was to give this sort of gradient effect to our tree, and I think we accomplished that. I initially tried different paints at the beginning. Now, you don't see that in the edit. The blues here and the greens really worked quite well. And of course, with all the different foliage and that kind of stuff, you get a lot of texture, a lot of color, and I think it really helps this tree pop. But yeah, that pretty much covers all of the materials, guys. So with that said, let's get on with the rest of the video. All right, guys, so there you go. There is our Wisteria tree done, and I freaking love this thing. If I could pick one thing, I think it would really come down to the paint job. The way the colors transition and sort of, I guess, blend nicely, it just really looks good. It's also really fun to use a lot of different paints in one build. It's not something I traditionally do, and I did play around a lot with the design of this tree, so I know it doesn't look like that during the editing, which obviously speeds everything up, and I cut out all the, thinking and the bad stuff. But ultimately, despite those challenges, I do think it actually looks like a Wisteria tree, which makes me pretty happy. Now, before anyone asks me about those pillar things on either end of the tree, I actually don't know what those are. I just kind of came up with a design. The tree is in fact in space, guys, so it just felt appropriate to have something that looked a little bit like a, I guess, discarded technology or broken down futuristic piece. I think it fits the build fairly well. The tree being gray also helps it blend a little bit more nicely. But again, I just love the way this ended up. But as always, that is simply my opinion, guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What did you like or what did you not like? And maybe a design or a build you'd like to see in a future video, because as you know, I am always open to suggestions. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. And as always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. We will see you in the next one.